Meghan Markle is back in Hollywood, and the drama is already reaching fever pitch. After 8 years away from acting, the Duchess of Sussex has landed a starring role in a major motion picture called Close Personal Friends, and insiders are calling it the most calculated comeback attempt in recent memory. This isn't just a casual return to the craft she supposedly loved. This is a woman desperate to reclaim relevance, and she's willing to bulldoze anyone who stands in her way. The project is being produced by Amazon MGM Studios, a powerhouse with essentially unlimited resources. We're talking about Jeff Bezos money here, the kind of budget that could make or break careers. Filming is currently underway in Pasadena, just a stone's throw from Meghan's Montecito mansion, and the cast list reads like a who's who of Hollywood talent. Lily Collins, star of the wildly successful Emily in Paris; Brie Larson, an Oscar winner with serious dramatic chops; Jack Quaid, son of Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid, carving out his own impressive career; and British heartthrob Henry Golding, who's been stealing scenes since Crazy Rich Asians. This is not some low-budget indie film. This is a legitimate production, with legitimate stars. And then there's Meghan Markle. Sources close to the production are already whispering that tension is brewing on set, and it's not hard to understand why. Meghan is walking into a room full of actors who have spent years honing their craft, building their reputations, and earning respect in an industry that doesn't hand out favors. Meanwhile, Meghan's most notable acting credit is 7 seasons on a cable legal drama where, let's be honest, she wasn't exactly setting the screen on fire. Her performance in Suits was serviceable at best, and that's being generous. But here's where it gets interesting. Meghan's team has been working overtime to spin this casting as some sort of triumphant return. They've been feeding outlets the line that she's been inundated with offers since leaving acting to marry into the royal family. Inundated, as if studios have been breaking down her door, begging her to grace their films with her presence. Industry insiders aren't buying it for a second. The reality is far less glamorous. After a string of failed business ventures, a struggling lifestyle brand that's barely gotten off the ground, and a Netflix deal that's produced more embarrassment than content, Meghan needs this. She needs the money, she needs the attention, and most importantly, she needs people to believe she's still relevant. Rumor has it Prince Harry is fully supportive of her return to acting, but sources close to the couple paint a very different picture. This isn't a supportive partnership. This is a man who's been sidelined in his own marriage, reduced to appearing in his wife's Instagram posts and Netflix shows, dutifully praising her while his own identity dissolves into nothing. Harry doesn't have a choice. He never did. But that was just the beginning of this Hollywood nightmare. So why is Meghan really crawling back to Hollywood? The official story from her publicity machine is that this role truly matched her instincts, that she's returning to what she genuinely loves. But let's strip away the carefully constructed narrative and look at the cold hard facts. Meghan Markle's post-royal career has been an absolute disaster, and this acting comeback reeks of desperation. Let's start with American Riviera Orchard, her luxury lifestyle brand that was supposed to cement her status as the next Martha Stewart or Gwyneth Paltrow. The website launched with massive fanfare, celebrity friends posting about receiving exclusive jam samples, and Meghan positioning herself as a tastemaker for the wealthy elite. Fast forward to today, and what do we have? A website that's barely functional, selling jam and tea bags to absolutely no one. The products aren't moving, the buzz has evaporated, and industry experts are quietly calling it one of the most embarrassing brand launches in recent memory. No legitimate entrepreneur is looking over their shoulder worried about Meghan Markle's business acumen. Then there's the Netflix catastrophe. With Love, Meghan was supposed to be her grand entrance into the lifestyle entertainment space, a glossy showcase of cooking, hosting, and elevated living. Instead, it became a punchline. Viewership numbers were abysmal, critics savaged the show's superficiality, and audiences couldn't connect with a woman lecturing them about elegant living from her $14 million mansion. The production reportedly employed 80 people, and every single one of them is now part of what's been dubbed the Sussex Survivors Club. These are staffers who've experienced Meghan's infamous 5 a.m. emails demanding immediate responses, her impossible standards, and her tendency to cycle through employees faster than most people change their sheets. And let's not forget the Netflix deal itself. Sources in the industry have revealed that it's not the lucrative partnership Meghan wants everyone to believe it is. It's a first-look deal, which in Hollywood terms means Netflix is paying a modest retainer for the right to say no to whatever terrible ideas Harry and Meghan pitch them. The streaming giant is essentially keeping them on a leash, waiting for the inevitable divorce so they can swoop in with an exclusive tell-all documentary. Meghan My Story, a 10-part series where she paints herself as the victim once again. That's the only content Netflix is truly interested in. Behind closed doors, people are saying Meghan has finally accepted that her ventures outside of acting have been complete failures. The charity work she claimed to be passionate about has produced no meaningful results. The podcast deal with Spotify ended in humiliation after they couldn't deliver compelling content. The royal family connection that once opened doors has become toxic baggage. So here she is, back where she started, hoping that Hollywood has a short memory and a soft spot for formerly famous people trying to reclaim their glory days. But the question everyone's asking is whether Meghan can actually act her way out of this career graveyard. Now let's talk about Lily Collins, because this is where Meghan's nightmare truly begins. Lily isn't just another actress sharing screen time in this ensemble film. She's the star, the anchor, the genuine talent that audiences actually want to see. And if there's one thing Meghan Markle cannot tolerate, it's being overshadowed by someone younger, more talented, and more beloved. Lily Collins has been building her career the right way, through hard work, dedication, and undeniable skill. She starred in Mirror Mirror opposite Julia Roberts, holding her own against one of Hollywood's biggest legends. She carried the Mortal Instruments franchise, proving she could lead a major studio production. And then came Emily in Paris, the Netflix phenomenon that turned Lily into a global sensation. The show has been an absolute juggernaut, spawning countless think pieces, fashion trends, and devoted fan communities. Lily's portrayal of Emily Cooper is charming, funny, and effortlessly watchable. She's got range, she's got charisma, and most importantly, she's got the respect of her peers. But here's what's really going to drive Meghan absolutely insane. Lily Collins has pedigree. Her father is Phil Collins, one of the most successful recording artists in history. We're talking about a man who sold 100 million records as a solo artist, and another 100 million with Genesis. He's written some of the most iconic songs ever recorded. Against All Odds, In the Air Tonight, One More Night. The man is a legitimate music legend, and Lily has inherited his creative DNA. She's not just talented by Hollywood standards, she's got genuine artistic excellence running through her veins. Sound familiar? This is exactly the dynamic that destroyed Meghan's relationship with Kate Middleton. Kate represented everything Meghan could never be. Beautiful, graceful, dignified, and destined for the throne. Kate had the pedigree, the breeding, the natural elegance that no amount of PR spin could manufacture, and Meghan couldn't handle it. She tortured Kate, made her life miserable, and ultimately fled to America rather than play second fiddle to the future queen. Now Meghan finds herself in the exact same situation on a film set. Lily Collins is the Kate Middleton of this production. She's the one with the famous family, the proven track record, and the genuine talent. She's the one audiences will be paying attention to when this film releases. And Meghan is going to be standing there, knowing that no matter how much her PR team spins this as a triumphant comeback, everyone in that room knows who the real star is. Word on the street suggests tensions are already simmering. Crew members have reportedly noticed Meghan's behavior shifting whenever Lily is receiving direction or praise from the filmmakers. There's a competitiveness that's palpable, an energy that makes people uncomfortable. Insiders claim Meghan has been making subtle comments, trying to assert dominance, positioning herself as the bigger name despite all evidence to the contrary. This isn't going to end well, and everyone on set knows it. The warning signs were there from day one, and now the chickens are coming home to roost. Production insiders are already sharing horror stories about working with Meghan Markle, and we're only weeks into filming. The pattern is disturbingly familiar to anyone who followed her brief tenure as a working royal: demanding behavior, unreasonable expectations, and a complete inability to function as part of a team. The director, Jason Orley, may need therapy by the time this production wraps. Sources close to the set reveal that Meghan has been sending emails at ungodly hours, sometimes as early as 5 in the morning, with detailed notes about her character, the script, and how scenes should be shot. The expectation is that recipients respond immediately, regardless of the time, or whether these notes actually improve the film. One crew member allegedly told a friend that working with Meghan feels like walking on eggshells, constantly worried that any perceived slight will result in a complaint to higher-ups or a passive-aggressive comment disguised as professional feedback. This behavior isn't new. During her time with the royal family, staff members reportedly fled in droves, unable to cope with Meghan's management style. The turnover rate was staggering, with experienced palace employees who had served the family for years suddenly requesting transfers or resigning altogether. The nickname Sussex Survivors Club didn't come from nowhere. It was coined by people who genuinely felt traumatized by their experience working for Harry and Meghan. These were professionals who had handled everything from state dinners to international crises, and yet they couldn't handle Meghan's particular brand of micromanagement and emotional manipulation. Now Hollywood is getting a taste of what the palace endured. Reports are surfacing that Meghan has been questioning creative decisions, suggesting changes to dialogue, and generally behaving as though she's the star of the production, rather than one member of an ensemble cast. She's allegedly been late to set multiple times, offering vague excuses about family commitments or important calls, while expecting everyone else to accommodate her schedule. The irony is rich considering she spent years complaining about how the royal family's rigid protocols stifled her creativity and independence. Other cast members have reportedly been keeping their distance, maintaining professional courtesy but avoiding deeper interaction. Nobody wants to become Meghan's next target or find themselves caught in the crossfire when tensions inevitably explode. Lily Collins, ever the professional, has been focusing on her performance performance and letting her work speak for itself. But sources speculate that even Lily's patience has limits, and if Meghan continues to create a hostile environment, there will be consequences. The production company is in a difficult position. They've invested significant money in this project, and Meghan's name does carry a certain tabloid value that could translate to publicity. But at what cost? If the on-set atmosphere becomes toxic enough to affect the quality of the film, or if other talented actors refuse to work with Meghan in the future, Amazon MGM Studios may come to regret this casting decision. And the worst part? This is only the beginning of what promises to be a very long, very uncomfortable shoot. The real battle isn't about acting ability or screen time. It's about something far more primal, something that's haunted Meghan Markle since her days at Kensington Palace. It's about being outshined, overshadowed, and ultimately revealed as the pretender in a room full of genuine talent. And Lily Collins represents everything Meghan has spent years trying to convince the world she is but can never actually become. Let's break down why this dynamic is so explosive. Meghan has built her entire public persona on the idea that she's special, that she's different, that she deserves recognition and adoration simply for existing. She married into royalty expecting to be worshipped, only to discover that the institution had rules, hierarchies, and expectations that didn't revolve around her. When she realized Kate Middleton would always be more important, more beloved, and more central to the monarchy's future, Meghan couldn't cope. The jealousy consumed her. Industry insiders suggest the exact same pattern is now playing out on the set of Close Personal Friends. Lily Collins walks onto set each day as a proven commodity. She's carried successful projects, earned critical acclaim, and built a devoted fan base through genuine talent and likability. She doesn't need to convince anyone of her worth. It's simply understood. Meanwhile, Meghan is desperately trying to prove she belongs in the same conversation, and the harder she tries, the more obvious it becomes that she doesn't. Palace sources have long whispered about Meghan's treatment of Kate during their brief time as sisters-in-law. The subtle digs, the competitive energy, the barely concealed resentment whenever Kate received positive press or public affection. Meghan allegedly made Kate's life miserable behind closed doors, creating tension at family gatherings and making unreasonable demands during joint appearances. The famous bridesmaid dress incident was just the tip of the iceberg. There were reportedly countless smaller cruelties, calculated to undermine Kate's confidence and position. Now imagine that same energy directed at Lily Collins, but without the constraints of royal protocol to keep it somewhat in check. Sources close to the production claim Meghan has been making comments about Lily's performance during takes, suggesting alternative line readings or questioning directorial choices when they favor Lily's character. She's allegedly been positioning herself in group scenes to ensure maximum camera presence, even when the blocking doesn't call for it. And perhaps most tellingly, she's been subtly dismissing Lily's accomplishments in conversations with crew members, suggesting that streaming success doesn't compare to real film work or that having a famous parent gave Lily unfair advantages. The cruelty is that Meghan is criticizing Lily for the exact advantages Meghan herself has exploited. She married a prince to boost her profile, leveraged royal connections to secure deals, and has been dining out on her Duchess title despite allegedly despising everything the institution represents. But Lily Collins? She's somehow undeserving because her father is Phil Collins? The hypocrisy is staggering, and everyone on set can see it. This jealousy, this toxic competitiveness, is about to tear this production apart. Let's address the elephant in the room that nobody in Meghan's camp wants to talk about. Can she actually act? Not perform for cameras during royal walkabouts, or deliver rehearsed lines in carefully edited Instagram videos? Can Meghan Markle hold her own against legitimate Hollywood talent in a feature film? The evidence suggests this comeback could be an absolute disaster. Her most substantial acting credit remains Suits, where she played paralegal Rachel Zane for 7 seasons. But let's be honest about what that role actually was. Rachel Zane was a supporting character on a cable network legal drama. The show had its fans, but it was never prestige television. Meghan's performance was fine for what it was, adequate, serviceable, nothing that would make casting directors sit up and take notice. She delivered her lines competently, looked good in the designer wardrobe, and fulfilled the basic requirements of the role. But was there depth? Was there nuance? Was there anything that suggested she could carry a major motion picture opposite Oscar winners and critically acclaimed performers? Critics who've revisited her Suits work with fresh eyes are not impressed. Her emotional range seemed limited, her dramatic moments often felt forced, and she had a tendency to rely on the same facial expressions and vocal patterns regardless of the scene's context. In an ensemble where she was protected by stronger actors and could blend into the background when necessary, these limitations weren't as obvious. But in a film where she's sharing scenes with Brie Larson, an actress who won an Academy Award for her devastating performance in Room, where she's going toe-to-toe with Lily Collins, who makes looking effortless look like an art form, the gap in ability is going to be painfully apparent. Anonymous crew members have allegedly started expressing concerns. One source supposedly told a friend that watching Meghan in early takes has been uncomfortable. that there's a stiffness to her performance that suggests she's not entirely comfortable being back in front of the camera. Another insider claims that she's been requiring significantly more takes than her co-stars to get scenes right, and even then the results are inconsistent. Directors can work magic in the editing room, but they can't manufacture charisma or genuine emotional connection if it's not there in the raw footage. The comparison to her castmates becomes even more brutal when you look at their recent work. Brie Larson has demonstrated incredible range from indie darlings to Marvel blockbusters, always bringing intelligence and depth to her roles. Henry Golding burst onto the scene with undeniable charm and has been steadily proving he's more than just a handsome face. Jack Quaid has carved out a niche playing earnest, relatable characters with perfect comic timing. And Lily Collins has spent years refining her craft, taking on challenging roles and building a reputation as someone directors actually want to work with. Then there's Meghan, whose most notable recent performance was acting like she enjoyed being in a loveless marriage on a Netflix reality show. The skills required for that particular role unfortunately don't translate well to legitimate cinema, but her lack of talent might actually be the least of this production's problems. The publicity blitz surrounding Meghan's return to acting has been nothing short of shameless, and journalists who know how Hollywood actually works are rolling their eyes so hard they're in danger of permanent injury. The spin coming from Meghan's camp is so transparent, so obviously manufactured, that it insults the intelligence of anyone paying attention. Yet here we are watching the Sussex PR machine churn out puff pieces like they're working overtime at a propaganda factory. The Sun newspaper broke the story with what they called a fabulous exclusive, but anyone with half a brain can see exactly what happened. Meghan's people fed them this story, complete with glowing quotes that read like they were written by someone on her payroll. The language is slavishly positive, describing this as a massive moment for Meghan, a return to doing what she truly loves. Sources allegedly close to the production claim she's been inundated with offers since stepping away from acting 8 years ago. Inundated. That word keeps appearing in these planted stories, as if repetition will somehow make it true. Let's examine that claim for a moment. If Meghan Markle had genuinely been inundated with acting offers over the past 8 years, why didn't she take any of them? Was she really so devoted to her royal duties that she turned down role after role, sacrificing her passion for the crown? Or is the more likely explanation that Hollywood wasn't exactly breaking down her door? The industry has a long memory, and Meghan's reputation as difficult, demanding, and more trouble than she's worth has been circulating for years. Casting directors talk to each other, producers share horror stories, word gets around. No legitimate journalist with any critical judgment would write these puff pieces without noting the obvious contradictions. If Meghan was truly passionate about acting, why did she spend the past few years launching failed business ventures, struggling through a disastrous Netflix deal, and trying to become a lifestyle guru? The timeline doesn't add up. The narrative falls apart under the slightest scrutiny. But Meghan's PR team is banking on the fact that most readers won't think too deeply, that the headline will be enough to reshape the public perception. The quotes attributed to studio sources are particularly laughable. This is a massive moment for Meghan and signifies a return to doing what she truly loves. She's had a flood of approaches, but this one felt right. Everyone involved is excited and sworn to secrecy about her role. Except the secrecy didn't last very long, did it? Because Meghan herself ensured this story got out, complete with carefully crafted talking points designed to make her seem in demand and professionally fulfilled. Here's what's really happening. Meghan needs this role desperately. Her brand is in shambles, her business ventures have failed, and her reputation is at an all-time low. Amazon MGM Studios is taking a gamble that her name recognition, however tainted, will generate enough publicity to justify the headache of actually working with her. They're hoping the tabloid drama will translate to box office curiosity, but journalists aren't buying it, and neither is the public. While Meghan is busy trying to resurrect her acting career, there's another casualty in this Hollywood comeback story, and his name is Prince Harry. The poor man has been reduced to a supporting character in his own life, and this return to acting might be the final nail in the coffin of their already crumbling marriage. Sources close to the couple are whispering that the end is near, and Meghan's immersion back into Hollywood is accelerating the inevitable. Let's talk about what Harry's life has become. He's described in official statements as fully supportive of Meghan's acting return, but anyone who's watched this relationship unfold knows exactly what that means. Harry doesn't have a choice. He never has. This isn't a partnership between equals. This is a hostage situation where Harry does what he's told, appears when summoned, and plays the role of dutiful husband while his own identity dissolves into nothing. The pattern has been consistent since they left the royal family. Harry only appears in public when Meghan needs him for content. He shows up in her Instagram posts, looking increasingly miserable with each passing month. he was forced to appear on With Love Meghan, dutifully praising his wife's cooking skills with all the enthusiasm of a man reading from a script he didn't write. The humiliation of having to pay respect to your own spouse on her vanity project television show speaks volumes about the power dynamic in this marriage. Palace insiders have been saying for months that Harry and Meghan are essentially living separate lives. He's reportedly spending more time away from their Montecito mansion, reconnecting with old friends, and desperately trying to find some semblance of the life he once had. Sources claim he's bored, miserable, homesick, and deeply depressed. The man who once was the life of every party, the cheeky prince with the mischievous grin, has been reduced to a shell of his former self. And now Meghan is going to be away from home even more, surrounded by attractive actors, immersed in the Hollywood scene that always made Harry uncomfortable. Think about what this means practically. Meghan will be on set for long hours, attending industry events, building relationships with producers and directors, and positioning herself for future roles. She'll be in the company of leading men with chiseled physiques and undeniable charisma. Harry, meanwhile, has let himself go. The man hasn't had visible abs since the 90s, reportedly comfort eating his way through depression while isolated in a country that isn't his home. Rumors are already circulating about what happens when Meghan films love scenes. Will Harry be invited to set, forced to watch his wife in the arms of another man? Or will he be conveniently kept away, left to stew in his Montecito prison while Meghan does whatever the script requires? Industry insiders speculate that Meghan sees this acting comeback as more than just career rehabilitation. It's an exit strategy. If she can re-establish herself as a Hollywood player, she won't need Harry anymore. The royal connection that once seemed so valuable has become more liability than asset. The divorce is coming, and everyone knows it. Make no mistake, Meghan Markle isn't just dipping her toe back into acting for fun or creative fulfillment. She's got her eyes on the ultimate prize, the one accolade that would validate her entire existence and prove to the world that she's not just a failed duchess and struggling businesswoman. Meghan wants an Oscar. She's absolutely obsessed with the idea of standing on that stage, clutching that golden statue, and delivering a tearful acceptance speech that cements her legacy as a serious artist. Sources within her inner circle claim this has been the conversation for months. Even before close personal friends came together, Meghan was allegedly strategizing about how to position herself for awards consideration. She's been studying the careers of actresses who successfully transitioned from television to prestige film. She's been analyzing what types of roles generate Academy buzz, and she's convinced herself that with the right project and the right campaign, she can join the ranks of Oscar winners. The delusion is staggering when you consider the reality of her situation. The Academy Awards don't go to people with name recognition or royal titles. They go to actors who deliver transformative performances, who disappear into their characters, who make audiences forget they're watching someone act. Meghan has never demonstrated that level of ability. Not in Suits, not in her brief film appearances, and certainly not in the carefully curated reality content she's been producing for Netflix. But that hasn't stopped her from fantasizing about the moment. Insiders claim she's already planning what she would wear, which designer would dress her, and most importantly, what she would say in her acceptance speech. The speech apparently involves thanking her agent, her mother Doria, and oh yes, her husband Harry, in that order. Notably absent from her imagined gratitude, Thomas Markle, the father who spent $500,000 on her elite education and treated her like a princess from birth. The man she's completely erased from her life story, despite everything he sacrificed for her success. Hollywood veterans are quietly laughing at the audacity of Meghan's ambitions. This is an industry that respects craft, dedication, and paying your dues. You don't just waltz back in after 8 years away, land one ensemble role in a mid-budget film, and expect to be competing against Meryl Streep and Cate Blanchett. The pathway to Oscar glory requires years of building credibility, choosing projects wisely, and most importantly, possessing undeniable talent. Meghan has none of these advantages. But perhaps the most concerning aspect of her Oscar obsession is what it reveals about her psychological state. She needs external validation to an unhealthy degree. The royal titles weren't enough. The Netflix deal wasn't enough. The lifestyle brand wasn't enough. Nothing will ever be enough because the hole she's trying to fill can't be satisfied by awards or recognition. It requires genuine self-reflection and personal growth, neither of which Meghan seems capable of pursuing. If by some miracle she did win an Oscar, the ego inflation would be nuclear. She would become completely insufferable, even more so than she already is. And that terrifying possibility brings us to the inevitable catastrophe brewing on this film set. The collision course between Meghan Markle and Lily Collins isn't a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Everyone on the set of Close Personal Friends is holding their breath, waiting for the moment when simmering tensions explode into full-blown warfare. And when that happens, it's going to be ugly, destructive, and absolutely devastating for Meghan's already shattered reputation. Here's why this disaster is inevitable. Lily Collins represents everything Meghan desperately wants to be, but never can. She's got the talent that comes from years of dedicated work. She's got the pedigree of being Phil Collins' daughter, a connection to greatness that Meghan can only dream of manufacturing. She's got the natural likability that makes audiences root for her, the kind of authentic charm that can't be faked or PR'd into existence. And most importantly, she's got the respect of the industry, something Meghan has never earned and likely never will. Meghan's entire identity is built on comparison and competition. She can't simply exist and be content with her own path. She needs to be the best, the most important, the center of attention. When Kate Middleton stood in the way of that, Meghan made her life hell until she could escape to America. When palace staff didn't worship at her feet, she cycled through them until she was surrounded by yes-men and survivors too traumatized to speak out. And now, when faced with an actress who outshines her in every measurable way, Meghan is going to do what she always does. She's going to attack. The tactics are already becoming visible to those paying attention. The subtle undermining, the questioning of creative decisions, the attempts to redirect attention back to herself during group scenes, but subtlety has never been Meghan's strong suit. And as production continues and Lily's natural superiority becomes more apparent, the mask is going to slip. There will be a moment, probably caught on someone's phone or witnessed by enough crew members that it becomes undeniable, where Meghan's true nature emerges. Palace insiders describe what happened with Kate as psychological warfare, a campaign of small cruelties designed to break down someone's confidence and sense of security. Meghan is reportedly a master of making people feel small while maintaining plausible deniability. The cutting comment disguised as concern, the subtle dig wrapped in false praise, the manufactured crisis that somehow always makes her the victim. Lily Collins is about to experience all of this, and more. But here's the difference between this situation and the royal family drama. Hollywood doesn't protect its own the way the monarchy does. There's no palace machine to suppress stories or maintain dignified silence. In this industry, people talk. Crew members leak information. Anonymous sources speak to entertainment journalists. And when the story breaks about Meghan's behavior on set, when the inevitable clash with Lily Collins becomes public knowledge, there won't be any coming back from it. This isn't just going to be another scandal. This is going to be career suicide, and Meghan is sleepwalking right into it. The comeback that was supposed to save her is going to be the final humiliation that proves what everyone already suspected. Meghan Markle is toxic, destructive, and completely incapable of functioning in any environment where she's not the unquestioned star. The production of Close Personal Friends was supposed to mark Meghan's triumphant return to Hollywood. Instead, it's shaping up to be the most spectacular flameout in recent entertainment history. And when the dust settles, when the behind-the-scenes horror stories emerge, when Lily Collins and the rest of the cast are finally free to speak their truth, the world will see once and for all who Meghan Markle really is. So drop your thoughts below. Do you think Meghan can survive this Hollywood return, or is she about to torch whatever credibility she has left? Hit that like button, subscribe for more royalty, and stay tuned. The next video is waiting, and you won't believe what's coming next.